Hello and welcome back to Daily Bible Quiz. Today, we have 21 challenging questions to test your familiarity with the Holy Bible. But before we dive into the quiz, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to drop a comment sharing how many questions you got right. Are you ready to prove just how well you know the scriptures? Let's dive straight in. Question 1. Who was the man whom God tasked with building the ark to survive the great flood? A. Methuselah. B. Noah. C. Abraham. D. Moses. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is B. Genesis chapter 6, verses 13 to 15 and 17 to 18. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it and coat it with pitch inside and out. I am going to bring floodwaters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens, every creature that has the breath of life in it. Everything on earth will perish. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Question 2. Who were the twin sons born, representing the struggle between two nations? A. Joseph and Jacob. B. Ishmael and Isaac. C. Jacob and Esau. D. Joseph and Benjamin. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. Genesis chapter 25 verses 21 to 24. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife, because she was childless. The Lord answered his prayer and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. The babies jostled each other within her, and she said, Why is this happening to me? So she went to inquire of the Lord. The Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. Question 3. Who was the patriarch who wrestled with God at Peniel? A. Abraham. B. Isaac. C. Jacob. D. Joseph. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. Genesis chapter 32, verses 24 to 28. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, Let me go, for it is daybreak. But Jacob replied, I will not let you go unless you bless me. The man asked him, What is your name? Jacob, he answered. Then the man said, Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome. Question 4. Which city did God destroy because of its wickedness, sparing only Lot and his family? A. Sodom and Gomorrah. B. Nineveh and Tyre. C. Babylon and Nineveh. D. Jericho and Ai. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. In Genesis 19, God destroys the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah due to their extreme wickedness and depravity. Abraham intercedes with God on behalf of the cities, pleading for mercy if even a few righteous people are found within them. However, only Lot and his family are found to be righteous, and God sends angels to rescue them before raining down fire and brimstone upon the cities, reducing them to ruins. The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah serves as a sobering warning of God's judgment against sin and disobedience, as well as his faithfulness to preserve the righteous amidst judgment. Question 5. Who interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, predicting 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine? A. Moses. B. Joseph. C. Aaron. D. Joshua. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is B. Genesis chapter 41, verses 25 to 30. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years, it is one and the same dream. The 7 lean, ugly cows that came up afterward are 7 years, and so are the 7 worthless heads of grain scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land." Question 6. Whose descendants were cursed to be slaves in Egypt for 400 years? A. Abraham. B. Joseph. C. Isaac. D. Jacob. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. Genesis chapter 15, verses 12 to 16. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. Then the Lord said to him, "Know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the 4th generation your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure." Question 7. Who laughed at the promise of God that she would conceive a child in her old age? A. Leah. B. Rachel. C. Rebecca. D. Sarah. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is D. Genesis chapter 18, verses 9 to 12. "Where is your wife Sarah?" they asked him. "There, in the tent," he said. Then one of them said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" Question 8. Who was the first high priest of Israel? A. Caleb. B. Aaron. C. Joshua. D. Miriam. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is B. Aaron was appointed as the high priest of Israel by God himself. He served alongside his brother Moses as a spokesperson and leader of the Israelites during their exodus from Egypt and their journey through the wilderness. Aaron played a significant role in the religious life of Israel, overseeing the tabernacle and its rituals, including sacrifices and the Day of Atonement. Despite his role, Aaron also faced challenges and failures, such as his involvement in the incident of the golden calf. Question 9. Which tribe of Israel was chosen to be the priests and caretakers of the tabernacle? A. Levi. B. Reuben. C. Benjamin. D. Judah. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. Exodus chapter 32, verses 25 to 29. Moses saw that the people were running wild and that Aaron had let them get out of control and so become a laughingstock to their enemies. So he stood at the entrance to the camp and said, "Whoever is for the Lord, come to me." And all the Levites rallied to him. Then he said to them, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, each man strap a sword to his side. Go back and forth through the camp from one end to the other, each killing his brother and friend and neighbor." The Levites did as Moses commanded, and that day about 3,000 of the people died. Then Moses said, "You have been set apart to the Lord today, for you were against your sons and brothers, and he has blessed you this day." Question 10. Who bravely saved the Israelite spies by hiding them and helping them escape from Jericho? A. Esther. B. Ruth. C. Rahab. D. Deborah. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. Joshua chapter 2, verses 1 to 24. The king of Jericho was told, "Look, some of the Israelites have come here tonight to spy out the land." So the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab, "Bring out the men who came to you and entered your house because they have come to spy out the whole land." But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. She said, "Yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they had come from. At dusk, when it was time to close the city gate, they left. I don't know which way they went. Go after them quickly, you may catch up with them." But she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them under the stalks of flax she had laid out on the roof. So the men set out in pursuit of the spies on the road that leads to the fords of the Jordan, and as soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut. Question 11. Who was the prophet who experienced a vision of a scroll containing words of lamentation and woe? A. Amos. B. Ezekiel. C. Jeremiah. D. Isaiah. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is B. Ezekiel chapter 2, verses 1 to 10. You must speak my words to them, whether they listen or fail to listen, for they are rebellious. But you, son of man, listen to what I say to you. Do not rebel like that rebellious people, open your mouth and eat what I give you. Then I looked, and I saw a hand stretched out to me. In it was a scroll, which he unrolled before me. On both sides of it were written words of lament and mourning and woe. Question 12. Which king is known for his remarkable victory over the Midianites with an army of only 300 men? A. Gideon. B. Saul. C. Samson. D. Jephthah. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. Judges chapters 6 and 7. Gideon, a judge and military leader in Israel, is known for his remarkable victory over the Midianites with a small, unconventional army. When the Midianites oppressed Israel, Gideon was called by God to deliver his people from their oppression. Despite his initial doubts and insecurities, Gideon obeyed God's command and assembled an army to confront the Midianites. However, God instructed Gideon to reduce the size of his army significantly, ultimately choosing only 300 men to fight against the vast Midianite army. Through a strategic plan involving torches, pitchers, and trumpets, Gideon and his men surprised the Midianites, causing confusion and routing them from the battlefield. The victory demonstrated God's power and faithfulness to deliver Israel, even against overwhelming odds. Question 13. Which disciple is known for his impulsive and passionate nature, often acting without forethought? A. Philip. B. Andrew. C. Thomas. D. Peter. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is D. Throughout the Gospels, Peter is portrayed as impulsive and passionate, often acting without forethought or understanding of the implications of his actions. His impulsive nature is evident in various episodes, such as when he attempts to walk on water to Jesus, when he rebukes Jesus for predicting his death, and when he denies Jesus 3 times during his trial. Question 14. Who was the Roman governor who presided over the trial of Paul in Caesarea? A. Felix. B. Herod Agrippa II. C. Festus. D. Pontius Pilate. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. In Acts 24, the Apostle Paul is brought before Felix, the Roman governor of Judea, to answer charges brought against him by the Jewish religious leaders. During the trial, Tertullus, a lawyer representing the Jewish accusers, presents their case against Paul, accusing him of being a troublemaker and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. Paul responds to the accusations, proclaiming his innocence and defending his beliefs before Felix. Despite finding no basis for condemning Paul, Felix delays rendering a verdict, hoping to receive a bribe from Paul in exchange for his release. Question 15. Who was the disciple known for his technical expertise in crafting and decorating the tabernacle? A. Hur. B. Oholiab. C. Bezalel. D. Aholiab. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. In Exodus chapter 31, verses 1 to 11, God appoints Bezalel, the son of Uri, from the tribe of Judah, as the chief artisan and craftsman responsible for overseeing the construction of the tabernacle and its furnishings. Bezalel is described as being filled with the Spirit of God, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in all kinds of craftsmanship. Alongside his assistant, Aholiab, Bezalel supervises the skilled workers and artisans who contribute their talents to the construction of the tabernacle, including the Ark of the Covenant, the table for the showbread, the lampstand, and the altar of incense. Question 16. What was the name of the false prophet who opposed Jeremiah? A. Micaiah. B. Hananiah. C. Shemaiah. D. Huldah. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is B. Jeremiah chapter 28, verses 15 to 17. Then the prophet Jeremiah said to Hananiah the prophet, Listen, Hananiah. The Lord has not sent you, yet you have persuaded this nation to trust in lies. Therefore this is what the Lord says, I am about to remove you from the face of the earth. This very year you are going to die because you have preached rebellion against the Lord. In the 7th month of that same year, Hananiah the prophet died. Question 17. Which Ammonite king oppressed the Israelites during the time of the judges? A. Sihon. B. Naash. C. Eglon. D. Og. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is B. 1 Samuel chapter 11, verses 1 to 11. Naash the Ammonite went up and besieged Jabesh Gilead, and all the men of Jabesh said to him, Make a treaty with us, and we will be subject to you. But Naash the Ammonite replied, I will make a treaty with you only on the condition that I gouge out the right eye of every one of you and so bring disgrace on all Israel. The elders of Jabesh said to him, Give us 7 days so we can send messengers throughout Israel. If no one comes to rescue us, we will surrender to you. Question 18. Which king was infamous for his idolatry and even sacrificed his own son in fire? A. Ahaz. B. Josiah. C. Manasseh. D. Hezekiah. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. 2 Kings chapter 21, verses 1 to 6. Manasseh was 12 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 55 years. His mother's name was Hephzibah. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, following the detestable practices of the nations the Lord had driven out before the Israelites. He rebuilt the high places his father Hezekiah had destroyed. He also erected altars to Baal and made an Asherah pole, as Ahab king of Israel had done. He bowed down to all the starry hosts and worshipped them. He built altars in the temple of the Lord, of which the Lord had said, "In Jerusalem, I will put my name." In the two courts of the temple of the Lord, he built altars for all the starry hosts. He sacrificed his own son in the fire, practiced divination, sought omens, and consulted mediums and spiritists. He did much evil in the eyes of the Lord, arousing his anger. Question 19. Which prophet experienced a vision of God's glory and received a commission to prophesy to the Israelites? A. Ezekiel. B. Isaiah. C. Jeremiah. D. Daniel. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. In Ezekiel 1, the prophet Ezekiel experiences a vision of God's glory while in exile by the river Chebar in Babylon. Ezekiel sees a great storm coming from the north, accompanied by flashing lightning and brilliant light, within which he sees 4 living creatures with the appearance of men. Above them is a throne with the likeness of a man seated upon it, surrounded by a rainbow and a brilliant light. This vision overwhelms Ezekiel with a sense of awe and fear, causing him to fall on his face. God commissions Ezekiel to be a prophet to the rebellious house of Israel, warning them of impending judgment and calling them to repentance. God provides Ezekiel with a scroll containing words of lamentation, mourning, and woe, which he is instructed to eat and then proclaim to the people. Question 20. Which wise woman of Tekoa persuaded David to reconcile with his son Absalom? A. Deborah. B. Bathsheba. C. Huldah. D. Abigail. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is D. 2 Samuel chapter 14, verses 1 to 20. Then the woman said, "Let your servant speak a word to my lord the king." "Speak," he replied. The woman said, "Why then have you devised a thing like this against the people of God? When the king says this, does he not convict himself, for the king has not brought back his banished son? Like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be recovered, so we must die." But that is not what God desires. Rather, he devises ways so that a banished person does not remain banished from him. And now I have come to say this to my lord the king because the people have made me afraid. Your servant thought, I will speak to the king. Perhaps he will grant his servant's request. Perhaps the king will agree to deliver his servant from the hand of the man who is trying to cut off both me and my son from God's inheritance. Question 21. Which king of Judah was killed by Jehu's command, fulfilling the prophecy of Elijah? A. Jehoram. B. Joash. C. Ahaziah. D. Jehoshaphat. You get 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 27. When Ahaziah king of Judah saw what had happened, he fled up the road to Beth-Hagan. Jehu chased him, shouting, "Kill him too." They wounded him in his chariot on the way up to Ger-Ner-Iblim, but he escaped to Megiddo and died there. His servants took him by chariot to Jerusalem and buried him with his ancestors in his tomb in the city of David. How did you fare? Drop a comment below sharing how many questions you got correct. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, whether you aced it or learned something new today, the Word of God is always full of wonders waiting to be explored. Now, if you enjoyed this quiz, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to share it with your friends and family.